Hello, everybody, and welcome back to part 3 of Dicing with Death.
Welcome, and as seems to be a running trend here, Halvar, you are unconscious.
God damn it.
Um,
I swear, I spent half this game unconscious or dying. It's beautiful. I love it.
All right. You don't die in your sleep.
Score. The dogs don't eat me in my sleep.
The dogs don't eat you in your sleep. I think you're too curious a specimen.
Do I know what it was that put me down? I know I made a saving throw, but was it a breath? Was it a paw? Was it a gaze?
It was a gaze attack. You found yourself lulled to sleep by the mesmerizing eyes of this befuddling jackal.
No, getting knocked out by a single unexpected breath weapon or gaze attack sure feels terrible.
Especially when all description of the creature led you to believe that it was just an ordinary animal.
Right. It just seems so unfair.
I mean, to be fair, you did see it use its gaze attack against another person.
I just didn't realize what was happening because I was too stupid. Yeah, it's my fault.
And fortunately, it's not like you're a professional dungeon master that's familiar with most of the creatures in the monsters manual or anything.
Well, you also called it a jackal, which I think in retrospect was like an intentional slip up of accidentally mentioning, because like, oh, they're just regular jackals. And I totally put my guard down on them because like, those are one hit die creatures, actually less than one hit die creature. It'll be fine. It's those sorts of sneaky plays that DMs make.
Where was there a jackal?
You called them jackals. So sneaky.
Jackal,
I don't know if...
Where?
Jackal where? Oh! Oh, wow.
Halvar comes to. Once again, your hands bound, but this time more obviously so. Hogtied behind your back to your feet. Lying here in the dirt, in the grass. Probably pretty similar location to where you started. Maybe you've rolled to the bottom of the hill. And you were being prodded by a man. You crane your head to look up. And you, I don't know, perhaps to your disgust, you notice this man is naked as the day he was born. A tuft of reddish hair on his chest, perhaps a few tufts elsewhere. The armpits, definitely the armpits. And he gazes at you.
I shut my eyes. It's another gaze attack.
I don't know. It wasn't a gaze attack.
Okay.
I think you've already fallen victim, and he's trying to talk. That would be inconvenient to like try to have a conversation with someone, and every time they just keep falling asleep.
Yeah.
But he looks like an ordinary human, save his eyes, which are a sickly yellow color.
Mm-hmm.
Same hypnotizing, swirling yellow as that jackal. And he's prodding you with the butt of an axe. Your axe. He's sniffing at you. I think they can communicate. Yeah, let's say he speaks common. Oi. What sort of beast are you?
I am Halvar. Halvar the Berserker.
You notice his mouth is bloodstained. And lying at the bottom of this gully next to you are the remains of some sheep and a human. And there's just blood and fur everywhere.
I'm looking for the wolf.
What? Wolf. Are you a wolf? I thought you smelled off.
No, I am man. What are you?
Why are you so green?
am half man, half orc.
I'm man too. Can't you tell?
You said I'm like hog-tied, my hands and feet are behind my back?
Yeah, hogtied.
I
Like awkwardly on your belly, struggling to like roll over and craning your neck to look up at him.
I sort of wriggle a bit and go, untie me.
Why should I do that?
This question strikes me as odd. I've given him an order. I've never had anyone question my orders. They usually agree or refuse. Halvar's not sure what to do about this. Because I need to get the wolf.
He sits
I can't
down
get the wolf like this.
and reaches over and picks up a hand. Forearm, and just starts gnawing on it raw. Looks at you and ponders for a second.
I lick my lips at the arm.
You wish to kill wolves?
One wolf. Kill it. Take its skin. Wear it for myself. I like to wear the skins.
He smiles at this and licks his lips. Where there's one wolf, there's usually a pack. I hate wolves.
Then you'll set me free, so I may slay them.
He nods, pondering this thought. Not with this, you won't. And he hefts the axe that he's stolen from you.
What do you want from me, dog man?
I thought to eat you, but I'm full, and you smelled strange.
I give him a smile. He's eating a human arm, right?
Yeah.
I shake my
Presumably the arm of that poor shepherd boy.
You've made a mistake, dog man. One gains power from eating the strong. You have eaten a weak shepherd. You should have eaten me.
I like man flesh. Are you sick? Why are you green?
Half orc. Orcs are green.
What's an orc? Never heard of an orc before.
What are you? I've never heard of you before. What do you call yourself, dog man?
I am a jackal.
Jackal?
He's sort of squatted down in front of you.
Jackals aren't
Unashamedly
men.
naked.
I don't mind his nudity. Seems we're born naked, we die naked, or at least we rot naked, you know? Seems fine. Seems fine. But tell me, what do you call yourself? I thought jackal was word for dog.
It's kind of like that. Part of me is like a dog. But sometimes I choose to walk like a man.
Strange. Interesting creature. Will you help me hunt wolves? We can share the flesh. I'll take the skins.
He shakes his head. Stupid. When you see wolves, you should run.
Why? Why would you flee from anything?
It's the big, strong, hunting packs.
Maybe we should make a pack to hunt them. A temporary pack. Or once I have slain the wolves and taken their skin, I shall go find the elves and the goblins, and I shall slay them too.
You're big. Look strong. Perhaps you could take down a wolf or two, but not a pack. They'd tear you limb from limb.
Try me. Give me my axe and let me show you.
This useless thing?
Was my mother's axe. How dare you call it worthless?
Didn't say worthless. Sure, it'd fetch a pretty penny. Said useless. If you hunt wolves for me, I'll let you free.
I will not work for small dog men. I may work with you, but never for you.
With, for. What's the difference? He, roll a charisma check, modified by your battle scars.
Alrighty. Here we go. 1d20 plus. Oops, 1d20 plus 10 plus 4. 28. You see these scars? Do you know how I got them?
Do you say that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He cuts you free. Tell me.
I will tell him about each scar. This one I got from a bear. It mauled me when I was dead, and I woke up in a grave and crawled my way free.
He perks up at this. A bear?
Yes.
You fight bears?
I died to the bear, and here I am. This
My wife
one
died to a bear. My cubs. I hate bears.
I would rather
wolves.
I would rather the bears than the wolf skins. Where can we find the bear? By the waterfall? In the cave?
I'll take you to a bear to the bear. But
My eyes gleam.
you'll need more than this. He hands your axe back to you.
I take it with an appropriate nod, and then you have other weapons? A dagger?
He shakes his
Another
head.
axe?
Does he look like a man that has weapons?
No.
Just that, and he points to the shepherd's crook or whatever. What is it called? I don't know. Staff.
Mm-hmm. I have axe,
Silver.
club, and
You'll need good silver.
silver. Makes for terrible weapons. Want good dwarven steel.
Bear's hide turns away steel, blunts it as if it were copper.
Is that why you turned my blade to the side?
Told you. Useless steel.
I run my tongue over the edge of the blade to see if it actually is, to see if it's actually useless or if it is still sharp.
Make a roll to hit.
Four.
Okay. You fail to cut your own tongue, but it's still sharp. I mean, maybe it. Then maybe it would have been slightly blunted from the blow. Nothing mechanical at this point.
Okay. Are you made of goblin magic?
No, not this goblin magic. So?
Well, silver. There's silver in the town. In Bobstown and Woldheim, there's much silver.
He shakes his head. Can't go there.
Why not?
Men, many men. They won't let me in, and they surely won't let you.
I think, well, outlying villages. We go in, kill them, we take their silver. I go in, find a smith, give him silver, force him to work, making me blades.
Men are scared. Something's got them spooked. Not so many in the countryside these days. This was the first good meal I've had in weeks.
Then how do you
Take another bite
suggest we get silver?
You're the one with the brains.
I know a man. He may have some. I call him Uncle. He lives near the bone orchard.
Know this uncle. Scary man. Shouldn't go.
I know him. He is safe. He may grant us silver for our needs. But there will be a cost, a trade. I know not what.
He shrugs. And if you lead on, you may follow.
Okay, I do.
All right. Well, pick yourself up out of the mud. Axe back in hand, and head back where you just came from.
All right. I will lead him to Uncle's
travel
house.
most of the day. So, do you journey on into the night, or will you stop when darkness falls?
If I feel like I'm only an hour or so away from him, then I will continue. But if it's more than that, we'll stop for the night.
It's more than that.
Okay, then we'll stop.
Okay. So how does this go? I mean, so it's reaching twilight around the time you're having this conversation. So you,
I guess we say
you get up to go, and you, I don't know, I mean, you realize that it's getting on towards dark.
in the
He's
morning.
Yeah.
We head out at first light so we can find our way. Unless you know the way by dark.
He shrugs. You have a stinking suspicion that those yellow eyes could see quite well in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Sneaking suspicion? Did I say stinking?
One of the two. All right, so we wait until morning, I guess. We could go by night, but that seems messy. So, where do you sleep? Do you have a lair? Or do you sleep under the stars, like a freed man?
I am free. Oh, I am free. But I know a den nearby.
I will follow him to it.
All right. He leads you probably less than a mile away. The sun is setting by this point. And in the side of a hill, sort of tucked away, hidden by some brush, is actually, as you approach, roll a perception check.
One of 5.
Yeah. You spot a few small dogs, jackals perhaps, lurking in the brush, sort of looking out at you as you approach.
Your cubs?
No. He looks perhaps saddened by this. Plain jackals. It was their den, but... well, they follow me now.
I accept this, and I will go curl up in the den.
Yeah. He leads you to the den. The jackals sort of eye you as you approach, but they clearly recognize him.
I will let them
you
sniff
approach.
me if they so desire.
You suspiciously roll a charisma check to see if you impress these jackals.
Ooh.
Not quite. They sort of yip and nip at you. He growls back. I think as he approaches the entrance to the cave, he arches his back, yips out an unearthly scream, and then dislocates his shoulders, and it cracks, and his arms bend and flail in most unwholesome way, and his vertebrae stick out from his spine, and fur starts sprouting out of his pores, and he reshapes into the form of a jackal. At first glance, you don't think you'd be able to distinguish it from one of these ordinary jackals. And he assumes this dog form right before your eyes, now small enough to easily enter the den. You could fit, but it's probably like a 3-foot wide tunnel entrance. So you'd have to get down on all fours and crawl in.
I will get down on all fours and crawl in. A little freaked by what I see, but understanding the shape-shifting nature and maybe the reason for the silver now. Halvar's not the smartest orc in the box.
Yeah. All right, so you crawl in. It's dark in here, but I guess you have some semblance of night vision. It is it's a small den. It opens up into a little cavern after the small entrance, but yeah. Not super comfortable, but you'll be fine. Let's see what we got here. Nothing. He's got no valuables. There's a chance he might have some magical loot for you, but alas, he's a free man far from home. In this den are the two jackals, presumably the ones he was hunting with before. Well, I don't know, maybe Halvar doesn't make that connection, but for our viewers. And he... and a small litter of cubs for little baby jackals inside the den. One of the adult jackals sort of growls at you once you're inside and then moves over protectively to sit with their cubs. You may sleep, rest here for the night.
Yeah, I'll crawl in with them and really not too close, but into the cozy little area and
yeah, you can't really. The whole chamber is probably less than 10 feet in diameter. Ceiling's probably less than 5 feet, so you can't stand up in here. There is a back entrance out of it. Similar size, so there's a way out if something came in the front. But it's cozy. They keep their distance from you. Eye you suspiciously. You may sleep. You get the impression that they are on alert and will be keeping watch tonight.
Okay. I will let my guard down and rest then.
You rest and awaken near dawn.
Excellent. Well then, I will lead the way back to Uncle Istvan's.
Yeah. You awaken in the jackal's den. No more man. You talk to these dogs, or do you just leave?
I look for the one with the yellow eyes.
Roll a perception check.
I guess it is dark and I'm using night vision, so I might not have color.
Morning vision. Yeah, you can identify the larger one. The one that the others seem to be deferring to as the alpha. You assume that is the jackal you were speaking to yesterday.
This way.
You leave, and the jackal follows you in dog form. And you emerge. You come out the way you came, or out the back entrance?
The way I came.
Yeah. Head out the way you came. You emerge into the dawn light. And the jackal follows at your heels as you head, let's see. I guess, yes, are we looking at the map? Do the viewers even have it?
Yes, they see the map.
Okay, so you would have ended the night somewhere in these hills. That's where you encountered the jackals. Istvan's is just a little ways east and south of Woodheim, so this is where you're aiming. See if there's any trouble on the way. No encounters. Since you're heading straight there and not hunting or anything, I assume, you'll reach Istvan's early afternoon.
Okay.
Do you approach from the forest or from the hills?
Whatever's way is most convenient and direct. Yeah. I have no
probably takes you on the edge of the forest through the hills, and you will approach from his orchard.
Okay. I will approach the building, keeping an eye out for Uncle Istvan.
You see no sign of him. You walk in through the orchard. The jackal sort of stops at the edge of the hill and you like look behind you, and you notice he's like some 30 yards behind. He'd probably stopped a moment ago, and you didn't quite realize. And it's just sort of sitting there staring at you.
I give him a deep bow of my head.
This is the jackal, not. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. You bow to the jackal. Okay.
I give him like a nod, like an acknowledgement that he's
Sitting
here
on his
with me.
haunches, staring.
And then I step into the house. I step into the building.
Roll a perception check.
23.
Yeah, so you approach the front door and you see some movement in the brush to your sides. One chore that he didn't have you do was to clear these weeds near the front door.
Mm-hmm.
They're still there, concealing. So let's see. Alrighty, let's see. Oh lordy. Alright, let's roll a surprise for you. You are not surprised, so let's roll initiative.
Okay.
Maybe use some battle music or something.
What is it?
13, even slower.
What do I see?
You see a small creature, perhaps, stirring in the bushes and leaping to the attack. What is your AC?
14. Was it hitting me
No
with?
hits.
Okay.
Roll a perception check.
Oh my. Nope, that's the wrong button. Ignore that die roll. There we go. 33. I see it all.
What you originally thought was a small, perhaps a rabbit leaping towards you, is in fact a hand cut off at the wrist that hurls itself some 10 feet from the bush nearby in your general direction. 4 of them, in fact, this first round. None of them managed to catch you. You sort of step aside and they miss. It's your turn to act, I suppose, if you'd like to attack them.
Yeah. I will take my axe.
Yeah. So there's 4 of these hands, mismatched. They look human-ish, some in various states of decay.
Okay. I just swing my axe at the first one. 12?
Not quite. Unless you can come up with a bonus. You didn't.
Nope, I did not declare a slash. I didn't roll for slash. High ground, maybe, but I feel like that would be included in the creature's natural AC because of the size difference.
Yeah, I don't think you usually get high ground versus smaller creatures, do you?
No. Then I will just make my offhand attack. Whoops.
With a javelin or?
With a kick. I'm going to try and punt one of the hands. 19 for my punt.
Do it.
I don't know how much damage kicking a hand does.
Usual kick, so I think that's
1d3?
I think it's 1d3 plus strength.
I kick the hand for 3 damage.
You kick the hand, it goes flying down the cobblestone path and falls limp. And initiative for the next round.
Right. Is my jackal buddy not joining in on the fray?
He's a couple hundred yards off. He stopped where I said he stopped, and you approached the cabin alone.
Okay. Well, I rolled initiative and got a 9.
They go first. There's 3 near you. One of them does hit. It hurls itself from the ground. It just crawls over and grabs you by the ankle with somewhat surprising strength, dealing 4 points of damage as it crushes your ankle. and then another sort of drops from overhead somewhere, surprising you for 6. So I think that one like clutches you on the throat and begins to choke the life out of you.
For 6?
6 points of damage. Yeah, drops from the awning.
Okay, 23 out of 33. My turn. I will slash at the one on the ground. Oh, natural 1.
Miss. Saving throw versus death.
Success.
Okay.
And then with my offhand, I'm going to just try and grab the one around my throat and throw it onto the roof.
Yeah, roll the hit.
1d20 plus
Probably
2.
Probably plus 2, I think, because it's...
That seems fair.
It's like
Ooh.
on you.
No dice.
No, I think you get it, but it's just like you can't get a good enough grip to like pull it free.
Tell me about these hands that I'm hacking and kicking and grabbing at.
The one that's close to your neck, you can smell. It smells like it's rotting, and you can see just a piece of bone protruding from the wrist. These are animated hands, undead hands.
Undead crawling claws.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And I think... I think once they've already gripped you, they can maybe keep doing damage.
Round after round. That would make sense. Once they've got...
That makes sense. It's not, I feel like it should be listed as a special attack. But...
I would rule it that way, or house homebrewed or whatever. That makes sense to me. Or maybe like attack at +4 or something.
Yeah. So let's roll initiative.
Okay. 1d10 plus 4, 6.
All right, you go first. So you get another round. So there's one gripping you on the throat, choking the life out of you.
So
one
I will
clawing into your ankle.
I'm gonna
Two
drop
more skirting around you, and you see the front yard is just alive with commotion. There's more of these things out there, and they
So I'm going to
got your scent. Can they smell? I don't know. They appear to be attracted to the commotion.
All right. I'm gonna make some attacks, but I'm gonna start with my offhand. So I'm gonna try and grab the one on my neck.
Yeah, go for
23
it.
to grab.
Oh, critical. Yeah, you wrench it off.
And I throw it onto the roof.
Strength check with advantage. Oh, it rolls really well, but I think it probably barely has...
29.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so you chuck it onto the roof.
Then I will make a...
You don't know this, but it actually dies. It takes like falling damage from clattering into the... Maybe it clips the awning. You like tried to get it on the roof and you fail in a good way, so it like clips the edge of the roof and just like
corner
breaks and dies.
I will make a slash attack at one of the guys on the ground nearby me.
Yeah.
6 is a failure again, and then I'm going to use my movement to get away. I will head in the direction of the jackal, taking my half move.
All right. You run. Roll a perception check.
Natural 1.
And initiative. That round, you're able to clear the yard. Roll a strength check to leap over the fence or something.
14 for initiative. 25 on the strength check to leap the fence.
You just bound over the fence. You're clear of the yard that first round. Yeah. And you're free. You go running back towards the jackal.
Mm-hmm. I will arrive at the jackal bleeding from my throat and my leg. Maybe
bleeding, it's just there's a big bruised finger marks in your throat.
Bleeding internally from the neck and the leg.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You look down at your leg and there is still a claw hanging on. I think you have a Your heart skips a beat when you see this thing.
I'm gonna
They can't manage to like get a grip through your boot to do any more damage than it has, but it's clinging on.
Well, I'm gonna make a stomp attack with one of my legs, with one foot against the other one, because I don't want to like hack and miss and chop my leg off. So I'm gonna stomp. Do I get another +2 for it being attached to me while I'm stomping?
I think. Okay, yeah, but if you miss, you might like step on yourself.
That's all right. I got a 20.
It. Roll your d3.
I'm not frenzied, so I just do the 3.
Yeah, so you managed to stomp it and kill it.
Excellent.
And you're safely out of Esteban's yard.
He's not home.
The dog is just sitting on its haunches staring at you. Actually, I think it stood up when you approached. It was probably ready to take a bite at the claw if you didn't take care of it that first round. Sort of stares at you. It's a dog, so I don't know. You don't have animal handling or anything. You can't sense its emotions. You feel embarrassed, but dog doesn't look particularly judgy.
Well, Jackal Man, we can wait for Uncle, or we can go to one of the civilized areas and rip their silver from their hands. Or we can go kill the bigger goblins. But then I don't need the silver to slay the bear. I've already killed the goblins. So why don't we wait here? Uncle is almost always home by dusk.
The jackal has cautiously stepped forward and is now sniffing at the dead hand. I'm gonna roll a grub skill check for him.
Nice.
No, he appears to be disgusted by the dead hand. Not in a good way. He doesn't eat it. You get the distinct impression that you're talking to yourself. So what'll it be, Halvar?
I will post up I will go find a nearby bone tree to, maybe not one of the bone trees. I'm going to just find the closest tree to me that I can scale. I just want to get at least one branch off the ground. So if any of these things,
pines nearby, outside of the orchard, that's where you're standing now. You climb. You actually see a few of the crawling claws skittering their way to the edge of what you can now judge to be Uncle Esteban's property line. And they're kind of waiting. Feel like they're staring at you, but they don't have any eyes. So how could that be?
Yeah.
And there's a row of almost, maybe probably 10 of them sort of lined up, sort of squared off with you. And you climb up this tree.
Yeah. I think I'm content to, they can stare at me and I'll stare at them and we'll just be like bristling at each other like dogs on the opposite side of a fence.
Yeah. Roll a perception check.
32.
Yeah, you hear a creaking of a gate. Little more than an hour later. Creak. Oh, that's good. Exactly like that. So probably not a chain link fence. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Here we go.
And then Esteban's voice. Girls? Where are my girls?
I will hop from the tree and shout, Uncle! I guess maybe not shout, but roar.
Oh, what did they do to you? The wind is blowing just right for you to hear perfectly from the other side of the cabin. You shout, and eventually Esteban circles around the cabin, cradling a crushed claw in his hand. Oh, Halvar, you're back so soon? And he walks over towards you, and the dozen or so claws that were about skitter and sort of surround him at his feet. There you are, and he reaches down and like scritches at one.
Silver. Me and I gesture to the jackal, friend, need silver weapons.
What are you doing with that mutt?
Silver to slay the bear.
Bear?
Bear. The bear whose steel does not harm.
Yes. It's cold iron you'll be wanting for that one. And he points to the jackal. But you say you're hunting bear? He sighs. Why should I help you again? What's in this for me?
Dead goblins. Dead greater goblins.
Thought you said you were an orc. If you go off and die with my silver... No, that's no good for me.
A trade then. What do you need, old one?
What do you have? Save your soul.
My soul then. I shall give it to you.
He looks at you skeptically. Roll a charisma check.
Oops, it should be one higher. 18. Still not good enough.
Yeah, you're not sure what would have happened if you passed, but he nods and says, sure. Come with me then. And he turns and walks towards his cabin.
I will walk on in.
All right. He approaches the front door, doesn't actually touch it. You see the doorknob turn from the other side, and it swings open. And he steps in and goes and he sets a parcel that he had on a cabinet somewhere, and goes and rummages through his things. Roll a saving throw versus spell.
Oh, goddamn. 1d20 greater than 16. One success.
Yeah. You do notice his walking stick, which is which is an axe.
Mm-hmm.
That he had been leaning against, and he sort of sets it down as he walks in. The blade glimmers at you, but he produces a dagger from a drawer somewhere.
I approach it.
And he walks over to you.
This is silver, right? I say, looking at the dagger.
And yours for the low, low price of your soul. When you leave this world, and as recklessly as you've been playing, I doubt it will be long. You're mine. Hold out your hand.
I hold out my hand.
He takes your wrist, wielding the knife blade in the other. For a second there, the thought crosses your mind that he might be removing your hand to add it to his collection of crawling claws.
Mm-hmm.
But he rests the blade side down against your palm and gives it a slice. Blood wells up in your hand. And he mutters unearthly words beneath his breath. Reminds you of Elven, perhaps, but it feels more sinister. and you feel power welling up in the blood of your hand.
Ooh.
He picks up a jar off the table and he takes your palm and squeezes it so that blood drips into this little jar.
I revel in the pain.
As it drips into the jar, it sizzles and steams, releasing the power within your blood. And he corks it and sets it on a shelf.
Is there other blood on the shelf? Other similar containers?
Roll a perception check.
1 of 4.
There's a lot of knickknacks in here. You know, it looks like he's probably there's a few other jars that are long dried, but it looks like probably he's made similar deals in the past. Yeah, there's some jars of blood.
Oh, perfect.
Amongst the other oddities, I don't know, shrunken monkey heads, dead crows. The package he just brought back has unfurled, and you see mushrooms with bright red and white spotted caps. And he hands you a silver dagger. You can use a dagger, right?
I can use a dagger. I've been using a knife, I have a short sword, axe, and club proficiency.
That's fine. Yeah. We'll just call it a D4 short sword. I was meaning to rework weapon proficiency systems in this character. I never quite got around to it. I had envisioned, I guess I called it sword. Maybe blade would be more precise. I feel like it's silly in D&D how each specific, I guess it's meant to be historical, right? You would specialize in your very specific size, shape, weight, construction of blade or whatever weapon. And like I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a reason they introduced the categories in this combat and tactics, is because it was like, well, short sword and dagger are really close.
And the problem is, like, it's fine to have 4 weapon proficiencies when you've got a PHB that's only got like 30 or 40 weapons. But then in combat and tactics, there's suddenly like hundreds of different sub-weapon categories, and you still only have the same number of proficiencies.
Right. There definitely ought to be categories of things, you know?
Yeah.
The difference between a javelin and a spear is insignificant when it comes to wielding it in combat.
I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it's not like you have a finite brain space. And you can also, and like an expert's, I don't know. It's not a realism simulator.
Yeah.
One system that I was floating with, kind of somewhat unrelated, well, maybe related to this, would be instead of FACO, or instead of hit bonuses on level up, you would get like a point to put into a particular weapon.
Oh, so God, you're in the same fucking wavelength as me. I was up all night thinking about this. Yeah.
Okay. So I've got right now there's, I don't know, what is 1, 2, 3, 4, like I've got 8 weapon categories. There's probably more that I didn't think of. They're on this Berserker sheet, but what I was imagining is like a spreadsheet table where you've got these weapon categories, and then you've got like a level across the top ranging from 1 to 20. And every time a warrior levels up, instead of a +1 to hit, you get a +1 to level up either a sword or an axe or a club skill, and then you only get +1 to hit with that particular weapon. Something along those lines.
Yeah. I wanted to roll that into this combat system where you've got like individual engagements, and instead of having like the way I was thinking about it is instead of doing like D20 +1 or D20 +2, when you gain a bonus to hit with something, you just increase the size of the die. So instead of rolling a D20, you'd roll like a D22.
Oh, okay.
And then you do like opposed attack rolls against each other, and then that way you can still hit or miss, and you don't have like I've got a +10, so I'm always going to hit this AC. You just have like a plus, you're rolling a D40, so it's very unlikely that you're going to roll under here. I got a whole thing. Next time we switch, we're gonna hopefully you'll be down to play the Berserker class, and then I can test the crazy combat concepts I've been working with. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah. All right. So you've traded your soul for a silver dagger.
Well, it's about right. You just traded his soul for 30 pieces of silver, and a silver dagger costs about 30 pieces of silver. Probably a little bit more, maybe.
Is that what Pontius Pilate paid Judas?
Yeah, right? 30 pieces of silver?
I don't know. Sounds right.
Yeah.
All right. It is now late afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Your jackal is nowhere to be seen. Sort of lost track of him in this. Yeah.
Okay.
Here you are. Can I get you some soup? Esteban says.
I
Stands
dip
up
my
and
head.
he starts a small cook fire.
What will you do with my soul?
He glances over his shoulder back at you. Do you really want to know?
Yes.
Hadn't decided yet. A soul is neither here nor there. Your body, on the other hand, sort of eyes you up and down. Strong body. Keep training, keep fighting, keep growing stronger. I may have a use for it. Just don't die too soon. All right.
I consider my options. Say, well, if you want Halvar to live longer, you may wish to furnish him with more silver weapons. I have 2 hands, but only 1 dagger. Would be in our best interests to furnish me with another silver.
If I give you my other silver dagger, what will I have to defend myself with?
The hands that crawl on the ground and choke intruders and allies alike.
He shakes his head. They may stave off werewolves for a bit, but they're not strong enough to bring down such creatures. Roll another charisma check.
Oops. 28.
He eyes you up and down while the DM consults his monsters manual. If you let's see. You may keep that first, but I can lend you another. This one you have to promise to bring back.
I promise.
Right. He stands up and walks over to his walking stick by the door. His axe. And he picks it up and approaches you.
Mm-hmm.
You may borrow this.
It is not silver.
You look at the walking stick. the blade that sort of flickers in and out of your awareness. And you're pretty sure that it's silver. When it's there, you know, sometimes you can see through the illusion, sometimes you can't.
Huh.
Magic is beyond Halvar.
I nod approvingly.
It's more of a wood cutting axe, though. I think it's a two-hander. You can decide yourself how you'll use it.
It's a wood cutting axe, you say?
It's more the style I was thinking. I mean, it's like a walking stick with an axe head at the top.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Well, I have stats for a wood axe.
In your,
It has
in
the
your
same
system?
Yeah, it has the same damage output as a battle axe, but it just weighs more and is slower. But takes less time to make. And it's a large weapon, which is important for critical dice.
But it also means you can't carry it one-handed. I was thinking I would let you dual wield it and give you penalties to hit, but up its damage die.
I guess I could choke up on the axe maybe, so I'm holding it closer to me, and that would be awkward to wield. So penalties, that seems fair.
Or you can wield it two-handed. Anyways, he hands you his walking stick. Yeah. Are you planning on healing up first, or are you gonna go in?
Yeah, I just took 10 damage.
Yeah.
That'll take 3 days to heal, and I feel a little weird to be walking around this jackal healing all the time, but I will first return to the jackal and ask him.
Right, so you leave. Do you wait for dinner, or do you?
I will speak to the jackal while dinner cooks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You head outside. You find him waiting sort of outside of the cabin, outside of Uncle's property line.
Jackal.
He's there, but it's a dog, so it doesn't respond. It looks
Paw at the ground if you are willing to wait 3 days before we set out.
Sort of growls.
Sniff at the air if you wish to leave now.
He growls. Roll a charisma check. A lot of charisma checks here.
Only the 18.
You. You don't have animal handling or anything?
I
don't
do not.
You don't speak jackal. You're not sure what he means. I mean, yeah, he seems displeased with the thought.
Yeah, if he's nipping at me, I'm gonna take that as wanting to go sooner than later. Fine. Let me finish my meal and we will set out. So I will go back into the house and eat with Uncle. And then set out.
Let's see here. Yeah. If you're going to set out so soon, you don't have time to heal. Perhaps I ought to treat your wounds. He will produce a bottle of distilled spirits and apply it to disinfect one of your wounds, cleaning the area. It stings, but it stings so good. You have a wound so you've got a 4 HP and a 6 HP wound?
Yes.
All right, so a disinfectant will reduce the severity of one wound that's 3 or greater by 1. So it will reduce the 4 wound down to 3. And then he can apply a healing poultice, which will restore an additional 1 point. Both of these will take 24 hours to achieve their effect.
So I'll go up to 25 out of 33 then.
Yeah, so you'll have a 6 and a 2, which is probably better than actually being at full, because you'll get your damage right off the bat.
Right.
And he will offer the spirit to you to take.
Mm-hmm.
It's only fair. You've given me your spirit.
I nod.
Have you been drunk before, Halvar?
Inebriation is the orcish rite of passage from infancy into babyhood.
That's a little horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
If you drink this, you may find that it enhances your frenzy.
I take it excitedly.
All right, so you can add a bottle of spirits to your character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And when would you like to set out?
Hold on.
Maybe 24 hours is too long for these healing poultices and stuff to take effect. I wonder if like 8 would be more appropriate. I didn't want it to be like immediate, but
maybe 8 hours of sleep or 24 hours of waking.
Yeah.
Because sleep should give you some sort of resting benefit.
Yeah.
I will set out as soon as dinner is done.
Okay.
We won't stick around for anything.
Stick around for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
You, have your stew. Get your wounds treated slightly. Would you like to reduce your 6 HP wound, or do you want to keep it festering and angry?
I do not want to reduce that 6 HP wound. We're gonna go fight some stuff. I want that to be as wounded as possible.
Yeah. So we'll just do the healing on your lower wound.
Mm-hmm. Fact. Well, we'll test it later. It's something I'm going to want to test later.
What's that?
I'm going to want to see if I can worsen a specific wound, like turn a 6 HP wound into an 8 HP wound. Like, can I stab myself and make it worse?
Do you want to try out through experimentation, or should I tell you how I would rule on such matters now?
Oh, I would want to try it out through experimentation, but I want to. Halvar's not going to do it yet. I'm not ready to experiment.
I think Old Mighty brought that up when I put out the class for feedback. As it seems like you could abuse this. I mean, I don't know. I know how I'll rule it, and I don't think you'll find the outcome to be beneficial.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be worth. I mean, maybe if you were unwounded, it would be worth injuring yourself to get yourself angry. But I think once you have a wound, it's not going to be to your benefit to make more. But feel free to test them out. Test that out.
Yeah.
All right. After dinner, you set out. It's dark, but you find your jackal waiting for you outside of the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems to be able to see all right. And he leads you on in the darkness.
I follow behind the jackal.
You'll travel most of the night through the woods. Roll a perception check. Actually, I'll roll one for the jackal as well. Nope. Go unaware. Let's see. look alone. Let me roll a surprise check for you.
What do you mean I look alone?
As in, at first glance, you look like a lone traveler.
Mm-hmm.
Not particularly intimidating. Roll a dexterity check.
Dex check of natural 20, modified 34.
All right. You don't
So
see
good.
it, but you catch yourself. A tripwire gets pulled taut in front of you. But you lunge right over. Yeah, it like catches you, and you like go to tumble. Maybe you just tumble head over heels and turn it into a graceful roll and stand right back up. Oh. And then the ambush is sprung. Do the battle music.
Maybe we should take a break. It's been an hour.
Sure.
All right. See you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.